Hello students, let us start with Science 1 and we will start with the chapter Carbon, an important element. Now do you all know what are compounds? Compounds can be inorganic and organic. So they are obtained directly or indirectly from plants and animals. Those are called as the organic compounds. And the main constituent of the organic compounds is carbon. So in this chapter we will be learning in detail about carbon, why carbon is such an important element that it has to be present in both plants and animals also, and it can be directly and indirectly obtained from us. Now, whenever a complete combustion of organic compounds takes place, that means whenever you are burning an organic compound, that is called as combustion. So after the combustion, a black color substance remains behind. You must have seen that whenever you burn paper also, a black color substance remain behind. Whenever bodies are burned, a black color substance remain behind, which we call it as ashes. So that the substance which remains behind, it is called as the carbon, and it can be obtained after the complete combustion of any organic compounds. Now if we talk about what type of element is carbon, so carbon is a non-metallic element. You must have seen that it is not metallic. It is available in the nature and it also occurs in the free as well as combined state. Now carbon in free state, if we talk about the example of the free state, so it is diamond and graphite. Both are the example of free state. And if we talk about the combined state, that means it is combined with something else. So it is present in our atmosphere, which is around 0.27%, and also in the form of carbonate. Then there is coal also, petroleum, all of these contains carbon. Now in atmosphere, the proportion of carbon is in the form of carbon dioxide. We all know that when carbon combines with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, and the proportion is approximately 0.03% in the atmosphere. So there are two states of carbon. One is called as the combined state and one is called as the free state of carbon. Now, few other things that you should know about carbon. The symbol for carbon is C. The atomic number of carbon is 6 and the atomic mass of carbon is 12. Now, as the atomic number is 6, can you guess the electronic configuration? Yes, it will be 2, 4. Now, as 4 is in the last shell, so what will be the valency? Yes, the valency is 4. And we all know that carbon is non-metallic. Now children, let us learn about the occurrence of carbon. Now the word carbon has been derived from a Latin word, that is carbo, which the meaning is coal. So in Latin it is called as carbo. We had already learned that carbon exists in two states, that is a free state and a combined state. Now carbon dioxide, which is present in the air, it can also present in other form such as calcium carbonate, like marble is there. Then other things also, in whenever you find any substance which contains carbon, so it means it is having carbon in it. Now petroleum, natural gas, those also contains carbon. Then in our body, the food that we consume like carbohydrates, protein, fats, these are all obtained in our body from what? From plants. So these also contain carbon. And carbon is also present in the form of natural fibers like cotton, wool and silk. So these are the occurrence of carbon. So we had learned that carbon exists in two forms, that is in free state and the combined state. Now free state which is there, that also can be in two forms. It can be crystalline or non-crystalline or amorphous. The example of crystalline like graphite, diamond and fullerene. Then we have the amorphous, or you can also say as non-crystalline like coke, coal, charcoal, etc. Then we have the combined state of carbon, which can be inorganic and organic. We are not going in detail about the inorganic state. We are going only about the organic carbon. The organic carbon can again be into two types, that is hydrocarbons and non-hydrocarbons. So we will be learning about everything in this chapter. We will be learning first about the crystalline substances, that is graphite, diamond and fullerene. Let us now first focus on two forms of carbon, that is crystalline and non-crystalline. So crystalline form of carbon, the examples are diamond, graphite and fullerene. And the amorphous or the non-crystalline form of carbon, the example are like coal, charcoal, lamp-black, etc. Now again we have different examples of coal. Then charcoal can also be of two types like plant charcoal and animal charcoal. Plant charcoal can also be of two types like wood charcoal, sugar charcoal. Animal charcoal also can be of two types, bone charcoal and blood charcoal. But we don't have to go in depth about these things. We will be only studying about the examples of the crystalline and the amorphous form. Now, one nature of carbon that is called as allotropy. So, if we talk about the allotropic nature of carbon, so let us first understand what do you mean by allotropy. So, there are some elements in the nature which occur in more than one form, and as they are occurring in more than one form, the chemical properties of these different forms are same, but their physical properties are different. These property of the elements are called as allotropy. So whenever the chemical properties of the element remain same, but their physical appearance is different. For example, we can take two different things. We know that in both the things carbon is present. For example, if I talk about graphite and if I talk about diamond, we all know that both is having carbon in it, but we know graphite looks different and diamond looks different. So this is called as allotropy, that is it is having carbon in it, but the chemicals are same, but the physical properties are different. So that is called as allotropy, and any element which has the property of allotropy, those elements are called as allotropes. So there are two allotropic form of carbon, that is crystalline and non-crystalline. Now crystalline form has three examples, that is graphite, diamond and fullerene. Now what do you understand by crystalline form? So crystalline form has a regular and a definite arrangement of the atoms. So we know that the arrangement of atoms are fixed. They also have high melting and boiling points, and also they have a geometric shape, and even there are edges and plane surfaces, but everything is fixed. They do not have irregular structures, they have a fixed structure. So this is why they are called as the crystalline form. Now let us take the first example, that is diamond. Now diamonds are found in India, in Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, and they are also found in Africa, Brazil, Russia and America. Let us talk about the structure of diamond. So we all know that diamond is very hard, but what makes it so hard? It is because of the atoms which are present in the diamond. So we know that carbon is present and the carbon atoms which are there. So each and every carbon atom, for example, if you will see this one carbon atom, this one carbon atom will be bonded to other four neighboring carbon atoms. So that means every carbon atom is bonded to four carbon atoms, and these bonds are the covalent bonds. And as they are bonded to four carbon atoms, so that is why the structure which is formed is a tetragonal three-dimensional structure. And as it makes a tetragonal structure, this is the reason it is very hard, and it is the hardest natural substance which is present. Let us look at the properties of diamond. So first of all, diamond is very hard. It is a natural substance and it is very hard. The density we have also known that it is 3.5 gram per cubic centimeters. We have known that the melting and boiling points of the crystalline forms are very high. So for diamond also the melting point is around 3500 degrees Celsius. And whenever we heat the diamond at around 800 degrees Celsius, so the presence of oxygen, that is the carbon dioxide and oxygen, is given away. Now, diamond does not dissolve in any solvent as it is very hard, so you cannot dissolve in any acid or any other substances, so it usually do not dissolve in other solvents. As it does not dissolve in any solvent, so acid and bases do not have any effect on the diamond. And also diamonds are very bad conductors of electricity, as they do not have any free electrons, because free electrons are necessary for the electricity to flow properly. But as they do not have free electrons, their structure is fixed, so that is why they are bad conductors of electricity. Let us talk about the uses of diamond. So diamond is, as it is very hard substance, so it is used in glass cutting and also in rock drilling machine, because in those things hard substances are required as they have to go very deep. So that is why diamonds are used. Also diamonds are used to make ornaments, and we all know that so many different types of ornaments can be made from diamond. Other uses, that diamonds can be used in eye surgery also. Diamond knives are there which are used in eye surgery. Then we also have diamond dust, which is used for polishing the other diamond so that it becomes shiny. Then diamond is also used to make windows, giving the protection from radiation in space and in artificial satellites. So as it is very hard, so it gives a proper protection for the windows so that the harmful radiations do not enter into the satellites. So all these reasons the diamonds are used. Next crystalline form of carbon is graphite. Now we all use pencils. So if you will see the lid of the pencil, the lid which is there, it has graphite in it. So graphite is mixed with clay and the lids are made. Now this process was discovered by Nicolas Conte in 1795, and after that the pencils were discovered. Now graphite is found in Russia, in New Zealand, in America, and also in India. If we have to see the structure of graphite, so every carbon atom in graphite is bonded to three other carbon atoms, and they are bonded in such a way that they form a hexagonal structure. So here if we will see in this picture, we can see that, for example, this one, it is bonded in such a way that it forms an hexagonal structure, and there are layers which are formed. This is the first layer which is formed. This is the second layer which is formed. So one is bonded to other three, then other one is bonded to other three. So in this way, the carbon atoms are bonded and forms a hexagonal layered structure. Now the graphite, which is crystals, and they form sheets, or we can also say layers of carbon. That is why when we see a graphite, we can see that there are sheets like layers which are there that we can see from outside. As we will see, if you have to see a black color structure of graphite, you will see that there are layers are formed, and these layers are because of these carbon atoms, the arrangement of these carbon atoms. Now here you can see that these are layers which are formed. Here all the layers are there, and these layers are slipped on each other, one upon other. They have a lot of pressure and they are attached to each other. And if we talk about one layer, so one layer is called as graphene. So let us do a small experiment to understand about graphite. So here we have to take a pencil and we will remove the graphite part, that is the lead part of the pencil, from both the sides. We will use two plucking tables, and these are the tables which are attached to the electric wires, and then we will attach a bulb and a cell. So you will see that as soon as you pluck it from one side, you will see that the light starts to glow, and when you are removing it, the light stops. So this, from this we can say that the electricity can be conducted through graphite, and this indicates that the lead is a good example, or you can say a good conductor of electricity. So from this experiment we have concluded that as lead is a good conductor of electricity, that means it is also having graphite in it. So graphite is also a good conductor of electricity. Now let us look at the properties of the graphite. Now one thing we have already concluded from the earlier experiment, that graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Now why it is a good conductor of electricity? Because of the layers. As so many layers are present, so electrons can freely move from those layers, and thus it is a good conductor of electricity. Also from the picture you can identify that it is black in color, it is soft, and it is slippery. Now, graphite, which is there, the density of graphite is 1.9 to 2.3 gram per centimeter cube. And graphite does not dissolve in many solvents. If you dissolve it in water, it will not dissolve. If you dissolve it in kerosene, it will not dissolve. So it is insoluble in many solvents. And as there are many layered structure of graphite, so that is why it can be used for writing on papers. So these were few properties of graphite. Let us now look at the uses of graphite. Now graphites can be used as writing uh, pencils. In the pencils we add little amount of graphite with clay so that it can be used for writing. It can be also used as the carbon electrodes. They are used in paint and polishes. They are also used in arc lamps, which gives a very bright light. For that also graphites are used, and graphites are also used as lubricants because they are slippery in nature. So they are also used as lubricants. They are also used in automobile industries and in batteries also. The electrodes which are formed, they are made up of graphite. So if you will open a battery, you can find black color rod which is present, that is made up of carbon only, and which is graphite. Now, next example of the allotrope of carbon is fullerene. Now, this is rarely found in the nature, and it was actually found in the space. So, in the nature, it is not very possible to find fullerene. There are various examples of fullerene, like we have C60, we have C70, that is C76, C82. C is nothing but carbon. So carbon 24, carbon 28, carbon 32, carbon 36, all these are the other forms of fullerene which are present. Now the first fullerene which was found was the carbon 60, and it was found by Richard Buckminster Fuller. So that is why behind his name the word fullerene is given from his name. So carbon 60 is also called as Buckminster fullerene. Now, if we have to talk about the structure of fullerene, so the molecules of fullerene are found in the form of buckyballs or a bucky tube. So how a buckyball looks like. So in that way, the molecules are of the fullerenes are arranged, and this is an example how the fullerene looks. Now the other properties of fullerene are that in one molecule of fullerene there are around 30 to 900 carbon atoms which are present, and also the fullerenes are soluble in organic solvents. They can be soluble in chlorobenzene and disulfides. So they are soluble in nature. Now let us talk about the uses of fullerene. So they are used as insulators. They are also used as catalyst for water purification. And if you don't know what are catalysts, so catalysts do not actually have any role in any reaction. It just is present for the speed of the reaction. And these fullerenes, they also exhibit superconductivity at a certain temperature. Now superconductivity is the transfer of electric charge from two points without the transfer of any heat. So when you heat the temperature at the certain temperature, they can also attain superconductivity. So these are the few uses of fullerene. So these were the three forms of carbon. Those are the allotropic form and the crystalline form. So we had studied about diamond. From the structure only you can identify now which is what. So this is diamond, one is attached to 4. This is graphite, one is attached to 3 other carbon atom, and this is fluorine like a buckyball.